It's been 10 years since Quebec's police watchdog, the Bureau des Enquêtes Indépendantes, began its operations. 10 years of inquiries into police interventions that have caused deaths or serious injuries, like when a young man lost consciousness and later died after police restrained him on the balcony of the apartment where he lived in Montreal, or when a 17-year-old was shot dead during a police intervention in a parking lot in the Eastern Townships, and more recently, a 15-year-old who was shot by police in broad daylight in Longueuil. After 10 years, are Quebecers happy with how the BEI goes about investigating these incidents?
They are biased. We think some things need to change.
Since 2016, the BEI has been busy. It's opened nearly 500 cases as of June 2026. Of those cases, 421 were concluded without any charges filed by Quebec's Crown Prosecutor. 36 were closed outright by the BEI without anything sent to prosecutors. 10 are ongoing BEI investigations, 19 are still with the prosecutor, or DPCP, and only 3 have resulted in charges. In those cases, 271 civilians lost their lives, including 56 at the hands of an officer using a firearm during a police intervention. Where did these incidents investigated by the BEI happen? About a fifth happened in Montreal, 43% if you add the surrounding regions. But there were incidents in all of Quebec's regions, including 40 in the sparsely populated Nord du Québec region. After the BEI concludes its investigations, it makes a report that it sends to Quebec's Crown Prosecutor's Office. It's up to that office to decide if there are reasonable grounds for criminal charges against officers involved. But there's something unique about the BEI that's been the source of criticism for some of the people involved in these incidents and their advocates. The BEI is the only watchdog across Canada to not publicly release its reports. Equivalent oversight bodies in other provinces such as Manitoba, Ontario, and Alberta mandate certain levels of disclosure.
We shouldn't even have to fight for this. It should be common sense. They make the most information available to the public, especially since, they've been branding themselves as being transparent and all that crap.
Ian Scott is the former director of Ontario's police watchdog called the SIU. He says there has to be some level of accountability.
The grim reality of policing is that they're going to be involved in confrontations. If there's no charges laid, other than, say, an inquest, this is really the only way the public's really going to understand what happened.
Tracy Wing struggled to get answers to even some of the smallest questions after her son, Riley Fairholm, was shot and killed in a police intervention in 2018.
I always believed that there would be some more information and that I received. I was able to get the BEI report because there was a coroner's inquest that was mandated for my son's death. There's nothing that I saw in the BEI report that would have harmed me or would harm the public.
She argues civilians have the right to know how the police interact with the public.
I think the public is a lot like I was when my son was killed. They just didn't know.
In March, Ian Lafrenière, Quebec's domestic security minister, said he was open to publicly releasing the reports by the province's watchdog, but he said doing so would raise other issues, and reports would likely be significantly redacted. Fadi Dagher, the chief of the Montreal Police, told CBC in May that more transparency will provide answers to questions. But he said some information could cause further conflict, such as legal battles, and that releasing reports would not guarantee more trust in police. Some argue there are flaws earlier in the process and question if cases are investigated in a neutral way. Cesar Chelik's son, Corey, died 9 years ago after a police intervention. Corey was in crisis and reportedly had mixed alcohol with medication he was prescribed for dental pain. The family needed help, but Chelik says instead officers used excessive force on their son. He takes issue with the potential police influence in the BEI. As of April, the watchdog employed 45 investigators. 22 of them were former police officers.
This is justice. We are delusional if we expect justice from such investigation. Public doesn't deserve to know the lies of BEI. Public deserves to know the truth.
Chelik's taken some of his concerns about the BEI to court and won. In 2021, his family was awarded $30,000 in damages in a civil suit against Quebec's police watchdog. The judge found the BEI was neither impartial nor transparent in its communications with the public about the case following Curé's death. In March, Chelik, Wing, and others signed a joint letter requesting an administrative inquiry into what they consider to be systemic problems surrounding BEI investigations and accountability.
When I say accountability, it doesn't mean that I'm looking to blame somebody. It's just to, back up what you're saying.
We reached out to the BEI, and in an emailed statement, the Bureau's director said that although the communications intended for the public may seem restrictive, the laws that govern it do not allow them to be more transparent. But Brigitte Bishop said the organization is currently working with Quebec's Domestic Security Ministry to correct the situation through legislative changes designed to increase the transparency of their interventions. The Office of Quebec's Domestic Security Minister did not respond to CBC's request for comment.
They're the only agents in a civil society that we allow to use non-consensual force. And there are going to be times, regrettably, when that force is going to have to be used. The real question is how are we going to give the public confidence that the force was not excessive?